Hi, Founder fans. Jason here, and today's founder is Richard Bassett, the senior member of the United States Senate. Technically, still the senior member of the United States Senate. But Richard Bassett, when the American Revolution was first breaking out, was very slow to the cause of independence. He thought reconciliation was the way to go. However, once the independence had been declared, Richard Bassett really helped his home state of Delaware fight in the Revolutionary War. He didn't take the field, but instead he was elected to the Delaware Assembly, the House of Representatives for that state. He would stay there for the entirety of the war, and he became really adept at being able to supply the militia of Delaware. In fact, they became fairly well known for their dress and their nice weaponry, much to the work of Richard Bassett in securing these supplies. Now, once the war was over and it was time to go to the Constitutional Convention, the state of Delaware chose several people, one of whom was a longtime assemblyman, Richard Bassett, who had never had any experience on the national stage, but he did favor a strong central government. He went to the Constitutional Convention. He did not give a single speech, but he did support the idea, and in fact signed the United States Constitution. He then did help push for ratification, and once the Constitution was ratified, he was elected as an inaugural member of the United States Senate, one of those first 26 people. He showed up on time in New York City when the first United States Congress was called, but it took a while for them to actually get a quorum. When they did, they decided to select a senior member, which is a tradition that stands to this day. Nowadays, when we have a senior member, it's the senior member. It's the person who's been around longest. Back then, they were all brand new, fresh and clean. So they decided to go alphabetically. And therefore, Richard Bassett, by default, with that B in his last name, became the senior member of the United States Senate. And as I said before, technically, if he were to come back from the dead and then get elected to the Senate, would still be the senior member of the United States Senate. He always will be. He's the senior member. Now, Bassett would serve for a few years, first as a pro-administration party, but then he actually kind of turned his back, but left the Washington camp for the anti-administration party that would later become the Democratic Republicans, because he saw Hamilton assuming all that power and didn't necessarily care for it. Bassett, though, he goes back to his home state of Delaware and is elected governor and serves for several years as governor of Delaware before being elected as the Chief Justice on Delaware's Court of Common Pleas, which is similar to what we would consider the state Supreme Court. Not exactly the same, but similar. Bassett would do this for several years before retiring to spend the rest of his life in his private practice and focusing a lot on charity. He did a lot of charity work, especially with the Methodist Church, which was growing in popularity at the time. So that's a brief overview of the life of Richard Bassett, a Constitution signer and the senior member by default of the United States Senate. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely hit like and subscribe for a new video 7 days a week talking about the American Revolution. So definitely subscribe, and I'll be back with another founder for you tomorrow.